Everybody seems to be looking for the glory hole of graphics cards. And it seems that it's not going to be found in 2025, but we are going to have some fun today. So make sure y'all stick around to see what's going to happen right here on JJ's PC Builds. And before we get started, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, or just hit the subscribe button and the like button. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so that way you know when I post the next video. And don't forget your drink and snacks, by the way. It's very important because when you sit down and you watch a video, it's like watching a movie. Basically, you got to spend your time to watch the movie. But anyway, today I was talking about the glory hole of graphics cards, but y'all can watch that on Graphics Card Nightmares. But what we're going to do today is basically, I'm going to walk you through PC Part Picker in 2025, how you can build a whole PC and know what the cost is going to be. Now, when you do this, you're going to go back and forth a lot, viewing the sites where you can buy the parts the cheapest. And that's the whole idea, is to do it the cheapest. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to see if we can find and build a decent PC for the cheapest price. So let's go to the action screen and see if it's cooking. Well, it looks like the PC right here. And you guys are going to say, Jay, you forgot something. And Jay's going to take you right to it so that way you all see what I'm doing. So, yes, I know I always tell you guys to take and blow your cursor up. You can make it as small as you want. You can make it as big as you want. So, now that we've done that, let's go ahead and open up DuckDuckGo and type in PC Part Picker. I know you guys think I'm kind of a lunatic, but you got to be insane to be sane. So we got PC Part Picker right here. And we're going to go right here. And this says start to build your PC. Button right here, it says PC Builder, right? Let's go ahead and clear off the screen because I was messing with it the other day on live stream. So let's start from the beginning. Now, the thing is this. We can start at choose your CPU, which a lot of people say that's where you should start. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and start there. Choose your CPU. First, we have to learn how to build our platform. Okay, so we have to look at what do we want, a 9800X3D for $479, or we want the cheapest price we can get. As you can see, the 7800X3D is $429, so $50 more is the 9800X3D. Now, price to performance between the two, it's cheaper to get the 9800X3D, if you look at it that way. So what we can do is we can scroll down and see what kind of CPU we can actually pick that's worth the price. I mean, if we want to go and we want to do Intel, okay, we can do Intel, you know, we can do AMD. So let's look at what we can do. Let's say you want to do Zen 4 or Zen 3, which you hit show more, and then you can do Zen 3 and see the listing they got for Zen 3. The price little tab, push it upwards. And now we can see for Zen 3 what prices we got for CPUs. So now if you want to go like a 5600, it's 119, but the cheapest they got is a 5500 for 82. So if we wanted to build the cheapest system, we can go 5500, or we can spend a couple extra dollars and then go a 5700, or we can spend a couple more dollars and go the 5700X. Me, I like the X processors more than they do the non-X processors. You get a little bit more advantage with the X processors, I think. So if you look at it, which one would you pick? You got a 5600 GT, which has got integrated graphics for $127. You can do a 5600X. You can do a 5600X for $121. That's if you wanted to stay lowballed. Okay, so that's if you want an AM4 platform. Let's say we do an AM4 platform. We do it with the 50. We'll do it with the 5600X. So we'll add that to the cart. Good thing about PC Part Picker is this. It will only let you pick, when it comes to the motherboards, it only lets you pick the compatibility of the CPU. So basically, when you go to motherboard and you put the price to the minimal, okay, you can get an ASRock B450 for $62, $63. That's if you want to stay the B450 motherboards. Or you can go the B550 ASRock for $74. But look where it says memory max 64 gigabytes. I don't think that's going to be beneficial for you at that price, because I would rather have something say 128 gigabytes, because you never know if you want to upgrade from 64 to 128. So what would be beneficial would be the Asus Prime B450 M-AII, which is 128 gigabytes of system RAM you can apply to it. And this will accept all the way up to 44. You can overclock it up to 4,400 megahertz on the system RAM. I know it because I got the motherboard. But let's say you want to go on the cheap, then you can click this one right here, which would be perfect. Now go back to your CPU cooler. A lot of people say, cheap is better. Oh, you're right. Cheap is better. You can get a Thermalright Assassin right here. It's a good one. You can get this one right here for $16.89. So far, we're looking at the price of $218.86. That's almost the price of your an RX 6600 graphics card. So now we're up to a decent price. Now let's choose the memory. Since, let's say you got $1,000 budget, right? And you want to put everything down into $1,000 budget. So we got to look at what we want. I'm going to do it by the speed and see what they got by the speed. Uh, let's see. I think we want to keep our budget down to, let's say, $199. Me, I prefer Corsair. So, and I'm going to set the size, and we're going to put DDR4. See, on the left side, you can choose what you want. See, I think the 4 times 16 is a good one, but you can get 2 times 32 or hit show more, and it gives you an idea of what you want. You can get 4 times 32. Let's just gander at that and see what they have. They have nothing at 4 times 32. So that's off the click. So we go 2 times 32 and see what they got. They got those. So 4 times 32 basically would be the same thing. So if you're looking for RAM, you're looking for at least 3600. So 3600 to 32, they're all 10 nanoseconds. So let's see, that's CL18 at 3600. CL18 is not bad because you're not going to find CL16 that much unless you're getting 3200 megahertz. So CL18 is about right. So we can go right here and have a little bit of RGB and add that. Add additional memory. And we can go ahead and get a second kit. Since we're in a good budget, we only had $500. So that's if you want to get 128 gigabytes of system RAM. But I don't think we're going to need that. 32 should be fine. But you never know. We can also find this cheaper as well. If we want to do like 64 gigs of RAM, we can take this off, and we don't need 128, just to first say. Let's go back into choosing memory. Let's see. Now we can get 2 times 16, which this would be right here. This would be 32 gigs. So we can grab this and get 2 kits and have 64 at 128. So, or we can find a 64 gig kit that's 3600. Got the Patriot Viper right here. We got 64 gig kit. It's 2. So we can grab that right there. That'll meet our needs right there. CL18, 64 gigs, 3600. Now we're set on the RAM. Now this brings down the price to $303. But if we're still looking on the cheap, I mean, this is just looking on the cheap. Okay. Now we can go up, and let's say you can get these parts here. Let's say you already got a power supply from your old system, which you have an 850 watt power supply. You have a case. You have your operating system, you have a monitor, you have a keyboard and mouse, you have everything else that you need, and you want to upgrade your platform. Let's say you got an old style Hewlett Packard, or you got an Acer that you want to upgrade that has the room and the case and everything else that you already right here. Well, let's say you don't have the case. Well, let's say you need a case. So we can always look on the cheap if we're looking for cheap cases. I mean, if you want a cheap case, they got cheap cases. They got Cooler Master. You know, I really don't prefer the cheap cases, guys, because airflow is just terrible in them. So I would say stay around $50. Let's see what this is. This is a very good case. Let's see. If its length is 34.127. So the dimensions, it's a 390 by 2305 by 430 millimeter. So to say, looking at this case, it's not a bad case. So that's what you're looking for, then we'll just use this as an example. So you can always get that case, the Elite for 54, or you can get the Apiva, or the Thermal Take, you know. But you always try to find something with fans. So let's say we want to go to Amazon. Okay, we go to Amazon. And what we're going to do here is we're going to type in PC case with 6 fans at 400 millimeters in length. Bam. So you can get a $79 case. You get a $79 case. Looks pretty cool. So it comes with 6 ARGB fans. Supports 360 millimeter water cooling on top. So, yeah, that's the case. So we're looking for a SAMA V40. So we go SA. So we're looking for the V40. No picture available. Huh. Interesting. So we'll just say right there. So now we got a case. It's $383. Let's say you got a 650 watt power supply and you're not happy with that power supply, so we'll choose a power supply. Now, depending on the price you want to pay, I would suggest not to go with the cheap brand. I would suggest to go with, you can even go with this Apiva Signature. Let's see what this is about. You probably could get away with this one right here. Not unless you're using the 12-volt high power. But this one is less than $70. And it's a 1050 watt. And it's got no 12-volt high power connectors. And yes, this wouldn't be a great selection, but for the price, that's what I was looking at, the price for that. But obviously, that's not a great deal. Or you can get this one right here. I got this one right here on my PC right now. We'll just go ahead and add that. That'll put you in the ballpark of where you need to be. So less than $500 for your platform, including everything you would need for your platform, other than the storage. And if you go with you can go with the Samsung, but I wouldn't pay that price. Or you can go with the Crucial P3, 2 terabytes. That would be good. So, platform's less than $600, and now you got $425 to make good with your graphics card. Okay, so we're gonna look for a graphics card, and we're gonna stay at price of $377 to, my bad. Right there. So we'll narrow down the price. You can get a B580. It's not a bad graphics card for this platform, but testing results show that the B580 on older platforms don't run so well. So I wouldn't stake my money on that B580. But they really don't have that much when it comes to graphics cards, I guess, in that price range. I mean, and now you can see in this price range, there's really not that much. I mean, this is 2025 prices. This is not MSRP. This is 2025 prices. And the only real option you got is the B580. I mean, that's really the only option you got for 12 gigabytes of VRAM. Sparkle Titan OC, I would imagine if it's tuned just right to the motherboard, it will run just fine. If it's tuned just right. So you're left with $25 left on your budget. So you can do all this in less than $1,000. So it's a no-brainer, guys. That's if you're looking for that. So the thing is this, the whole idea of this exercise is to show you that today's prices on the lowest end is still going to cost you $1,000, no matter which way you cut it. Not unless you have an older PC that you can gut out and save your money on a PC case, and you have at least a 750-watt power supply, and you have an SSD already that you can take and repurpose. Anything that you can repurpose from your older system, that will start saving you money. That's if you can repurpose it. Some systems you can't repurpose, some you can. I have one that's 12 years old that I repurposed the case. It was a Dell or an E-machine. I took everything out. I put in a 750-watt power supply. I put in a B450 motherboard and whatever processor I really want to put in there. I can put a 5600X. I can put a 5700. I can put a 5800. I can put a 5800X 3D in there. Only difference is that the X16 slot for your graphics card is going to be PCIe 3.0 X16 if you're using a B450 motherboard. Now, if you go use a B550 motherboard, which I do recommend, okay, let's go back and I'll show you why. See, because if we go to the B450 motherboard, we take this off, right? And let's say we want to go and choose a better motherboard, a better one, like B550. So we narrow down our choices. Okay. We narrow down the price. So this way we can narrow down to see what we can afford. They have an MSI B550 Gaming Gen 3. That's a good one. They got the Asus Prime B550-A Wi-Fi 2. It's not a bad looking motherboard. You got it for 104. So that's not bad. And they still got it in stock, which I like that motherboard better. We'll just stick with that one. So for a couple dollars more, your price is still under $1,000. You're able to upgrade your motherboard for under $1,000. And it shows right here, $1,000. So keep this in mind when you're shopping, when you shop for your parts, okay, and you go the cheap of the cheap, then you want to look at the longevity of it, how long it's going to last you. So you can go from B450 to B550 with the same processor, and you don't have to worry about the BIOS because the BIOS is already set up for that processor, and that motherboard itself will accept all the way up to the 5950X, which is 16 core, 32 thread. So you're still left in a good situation to where you can upgrade this motherboard to other processors. But now comes to the question. Now we've seen the AM4 side. Let's go back and see what we see on the AM5 side. So we said that this was $999.69. Okay, with the graphics card. Let's say we take off the processor, we take off the CPU cooler. I'll show you why in a minute. We take off the motherboard. We take off the RAM. We take and leave the SSD and the graphics card and the case and the power supply. And we take off. Somehow the mouse got there. So this total right here, $670.83. Now we got to look for a new CPU. Now we're going to take and we're going to do Zen 5. I know you guys are going to say, well, you should be doing Intel. I know you guys are going to say that. So we can take and look at the charts here. We can do a 9600X, which has got a 6-core 12-thread processor for $223. That's a 96X. Or a 97X, we can go up and do a 97X. But that's going to be way over the amount processor that we paid for. Let's say we bought for AM4. That's going to be well over the top. So that's not going to work. So let's go to Zen 4 and see what we can get and make the price as cheap as we can find it. 8500G is the cheapest one. So 84F is 149. 8600G is that price. We got a 7600, which is not a bad processor, but it's a locked processor. We can do that for 184. Let's go ahead and do that for 184. And now we'll choose the CPU cooler. Now we're going up. And so we're going to type in AIO. And we're going to go to the cheapest AIO we can find. They got the Vetro. They got the Benfex. They don't list thermal right. Interesting. Thermal Light Assassin. Right here for $16.89. That'll work just as well. Motherboard. Yeah, 620. They got an 850MX ASRock. Let's have a looky. It's not that bad of a motherboard. This gives you, looks like it gives you 1, 2. You'll get 2 M.2 slots. It's a full ATX. Not bad. So, not a bad motherboard. ASRock 850. It's an 800 series motherboard too. So for $109, That's not too bad. We already got this one storage, so we got room for a second storage. That's good. 750 watt. Oh, let's make sure we got everything correct. So the 7600 to 184. Let's do this. Let's move up in the world. Let's say because that's a 6-core 12-thread processor. This is 2, but this has got 5.4 gigahertz. Let's say this one right here and see what we get. Oh, $21 over. So now we got to look how to cut $21. We could cut it off our case. We could. But even the $21 over still, I mean, I'd go the extra 21 bucks. And plus you get a $5 promo discount. So for $21 over the 1,000 mark, you can still get a decent PC for AM5. So this is AM5 now. So you get a Ryzen 5 9600X, 6-core 12-thread processor for $224. Thermalite Assassin XSC, which if you go over here to Amazon, if you really want to get it AIO, so we go thermal, right, AIO. And if you look right here, you can get them for $57.90. And this should be compatible with AM5 right there. So for 58 bucks compared to $16, say you want to go for 58 bucks and get them right here. The Aqua Elite 360. This has already been tested and I've already seen the results on this. And it's really good at keeping temperatures low. I wouldn't go a 240 with that. I would not go a 240 with that. I mean, 240 millimeter cooler. I mean, I don't think it would be beneficial. But they got this one right here for 54. So, for 54. So even if you spend over $60 to $75 more, just to make it to that, let's say you want to do a $1,100 threshold, then I would say to replace this right here, and let's find something that's close to it. To the $54 threshold. Just for an observation view. So we'll find something with $54. Oh, there it is right there. So $1,060. So, and still get your $5 discount. Now, if you can get rid of the shipping cost for $14.99, then that'll knock $15 off of that. So you'll still be closer to the $1,000 mark. Okay, back to the main screen, guys. Final thoughts. For a couple extra more dollars, you can go from AM4 to AM5. I mean, it's less than $100 over, and it's not a bad deal. So, truthfully, I don't know. You could go up and you're going to say, well, Jay, you forgot something. And I'm going to say, yeah, you're right. I did forget something. I forgot the fact of choosing the memory. My bad. Now let's go back to the screen again. Guys, I'm not cutting anything out. You're going to see this video as it is. And if I make a mistake, you're going to see it. So, now, let's pull the prices down to where it's reasonable. So, they got the Patriot Venom, 6,000. 30 cast latency, CL latency is, the cast latency is 30, $174 for 64. Well worth it. Because the 32 gig is about the same price. So that's 29, that's 99 for like, what, 70 cents more to get a 64 gig. All right, we'll go with that. And I forgot the RAM, guys. And, that was an honest mistake. Now we come to your price. Now it's $1,234.70. From the 1,000 mark that we had from AM4, it's $234.70 more. And I'll make sure we got it right. $750, which is still good for this kind of system. Case, the graphics card, 64 gigs of system RAM, a good decent RAM too. 850, 800 series motherboard, and a 9600X. You probably can find these prices cheaper, but for $1,200, that's not bad. Now, if you have a budget of $1,500, then I would think about upgrading the power supply and upgrade the graphics card to, like, I would go at least an 850 watt power supply, at least. And then if you go up to a graphics card and you want them decent, then you can go up to a 7800 XT. You can go up to a 4070 or 4070 Super and still stay within your price range of $1,500. So keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. So if you're trying to balance out what you're trying to get, what I showed you there on the AM4 side was you got a 9600X, you got an 800 series motherboard, which is the best of the best right now. 9,000 series, 800 series motherboard, 6,000 series RAM, system RAM with low cast latency. Would be nice if it was CL28, but at that price, it's not bad for CL30. So looking at all this and putting it all together, now the Intel Arc B580 will run fine on this system. For gaming, yes, it will definitely, it will give you what you would want. If you're gaming AAA high profile games, um, it might keep you on the medium side. If you're running 4K, it's definitely going to keep you on the medium side. But let's say you run 1440p, it'll run fine. 1440p, 4K, it should be okay. 1080p, it should be fine as well. So you got the best of all worlds. So keep that in mind. It's not a bad system. If I were to put that together myself and try it out, it definitely would be a great system. But that's all depend on if that's what you want to build. But these are 2025 prices. You can't expect much more than that. You really can't. Because every day the prices just keep going up and up and up. They're going to skyrocket until the middle or the end of this year. And then they're going to come down because they're not going to have much more new product coming out. So the only one that will probably have new product coming out would probably be Intel. Because Intel hasn't reached their threshold yet. And they got plenty more products coming out. And from what I'm hearing, that AMD's probably going to work on laptops. You know, as far as NVIDIA, they're probably going to be working on putting stock out there, fixing their GPUs to make sure they're at 100%. What's coming up in April could be the 9060 or the 9060 XT, or it could be the 5060 or the 5060 XT, depending on how NVIDIA wants to split it. If they want to do an 8 gigabyte card, a 12 gigabyte card, or a 16 gigabyte card, who knows? Who knows? It'll be a slap in the face if they do the 5060 with 12 gigabytes. Because then they're doing the 5070 with 12 gigabytes. That's just basically another slap in the face. So, but not unless AMD comes out with the 9060 or 9060 XT with 16 gigabytes of VRAM, I'm sure everybody's going to be looking forward to that. Maybe NVIDIA needs to take the couple pages out of AMD's playbook in order to get their graphics card on the right track. Don't get me wrong. I have the 4070 with 12 gigabytes of VRAM. I haven't had a lick of problem, except for the last two driver updates to where you go to do the update, and then once it's done, you get a black screen. And then you got to do a hard reset. Everything comes back online and everything's fine. That happened to me twice. But the recent one, it didn't happen. It just flickered like it always does. Install, update, not a problem. So I would imagine NVIDIA's in the right direction. Let's hope they're in the right direction by fixing their GPU die, so that way they can put out the new 50 series product with having all the ROMs. When you take away 8 ROMs, you're taking away 12% of performance. But once you put it back in there, then you get your full percentage of performance. And I think that will help NVIDIA out. But I think what's helping NVIDIA out right now is all the scalpers buying up the GPUs. It's helping out NVIDIA. It's helping out AMD. It's helping out Intel. All these companies, the scalpers are the ones that are helping out these companies. Like Asus and all them, the scalpers are buying up all the stuff. And if it's too high of a price, when it goes up on Amazon or Newegg, the scalpers ain't going to buy it. That's the whole balancing act that's going on right now. These companies they were given full reign to charge whatever price they want. Big mistake. Now, and they say to everybody, oh yeah, well, we have a program in place to combat scalpers with the scalping bots. I have a friend that told me differently. They told me that once in a blue moon, they would do something as a CAPTCHA to combat the scalping bots. Once in a blue moon. Not all the time. So that told me this launch was going to be a disaster. Especially for Amazon, Newegg, and all those high roller sites. You guys kind of lied to the public. Don't get hyped up into the lie. I would suggest to wait until all the graphics cards are launched. And then after this generation is launched, I would wait 4 to 6 months after that. And by then, nobody will be buying the graphics cards, so the price is going to come down. The demand's going to come down. And when the demand comes down and you see it coming down, then that's the time to buy. But right now, it's not the time. So if you can hold your piggy bank out just a little bit more, I'm sure in the future, you'll be able to get one of these graphics cards. Last generation wasn't like this, because you can be able to pick it up at MSRP 30 days after the launch. This is just totally different. This year, the launch is totally different. This is total different launch. It's where they give you MSRP for 10 minutes. And they have enough card to last 10 minutes online or anywhere else. And then after that, boom, they're gone. The only place that held out the longest is Micro Center. Or in Europe, if you guys have any of your European stores that lasted longer than 10 minutes, then leave your comment down below and let me know how long your graphics card store lasted in the launch with AMD and NVIDIA. Let us know. So that way, we can spread the word. But anyway, guys, I'm going to cut it right here. And if you made it this long, and I hope you did, please subscribe and hit the like button so you'll know when I post the next video. Until the next time and the next video, you know what it is, and we'll see you on the next one.